Alright, so we're right now going to be going over linked list cycle detection, right? So what this problem is basically asking us to do is it's going to give us a linked list. We're going to start at the head, right? We want to cycle through that linked list and see if the list is continuous and it goes back to one of the values, and like mentioned before, cycles through it, right? If it does, it wants us to return true. If not, return false, right? So let's see what we're given. So we're given a class, right, called solution, and under it we're given a method called hasCycle, which passes in head as our argument, right? Head being the first node within the list, right? So node 1. And what we're going to do to get through this problem is use a technique called fast and slow linked list. And how that technique works is you both are going to grab starting at head, right? And one is going to go faster than the other, and usually by 2 times speed, right? So think of it like this, right? I'll show it to you guys visually. You have slow and fast, and they both start at the same node, right? Slow is going to go 2 times as fast as the fast node. So if we want to iterate, right, we're going to use the method .next, right? So if we're starting at slow and we just do it the normal speed, .next should be 2, right? But if we want to go 2 times the speed, instead of doing just .next, we would do .next, which would go 2 times the spaces. So starting at 1, instead of just going 2 like the normal speed, we would go 1, 2, right? And so on. And what this does is basically allows us to run through the entirety of the list multiple times, and we should ultimately get back to the same place, right? And if we get back to the same place, what that means is that the cycle is continuous. So how would we write that in code? Well, first thing we need to do is create 2 variables, right? Starting at the head. So we could just do slow equals head and fast equals head, right? Super simple stuff. And then when working with linked list, we usually are going to incorporate while loops, right? Similar to 2 pointers, well, you do while pointer 1 is less than pointer 2, and that's usually how most of the basis of the questions work with. Similar stuff here, right? But instead of doing while pointer 1 is less than pointer 2, what you're going to do is basically focus on the fast node. The reason why we're going to focus on the fast as our condition is because it's going 2 times the speed, right? So we need to make sure that when we do that speed, or before we do fast on next node, right, which is going to go 2 points ahead, that there's space, there's a node we can land on. So what we're going to do is while fast and fast.next, right? So now this is making sure that we can continue through the the nodes normally, and that we have somewhere to land. We're going to set slow equal to slow.next, right? And fast equal to fast.next. This is exactly what we just mentioned earlier, right? Where slow is just .next, so which is going to go 1 time, and fast is .next. So this should go 1, 2, right? And now, like I mentioned, throughout the duration of the loop, if it's a cycle, they will equal one another. So we need to see if they equal one another. So just an if statement, right? So if slow equals fast, right? What does the question want us to return? It wants us to return a Boolean value, and that being true. So just return true, right? If not, right, meaning so if the loop is not continuous, they just want us to return false. So if it's not continuous, then the last node won't equal to any of these. It will just equal to none. So we don't need to worry because the while loop will just cancel out. And if the while loop cancels out, just return false, right? And with that, this should be enough. And if I run it, this should work. Let's see. Ran into a little problem. While fast.next. Slow equals slow.next. Fast equals fast.next.next. If slow equals fast. Oh, my bad, guys. Return true. Beautiful. There you guys go. So That is how you're going to do the linked list cycle detection, like I mentioned before. And you can see it visually through here. We're going to iterate slow, right? Fast goes 2, slow goes 1, fast goes 2. And by the time we would reach 1, right? And I know that I mentioned before um, how they should equal one another. So just show you that with code 2, I even wrote it over here, right? So this is usually going to be hidden behind the test case, functions that you usually don't see behind the LeetCode stuff. But node 1, 2, 3, and 4 are initiated, right? We even call like the next node method, right? So we set the next node after 1 is 2, 3, and 4. And like I mentioned before, if it's continuous, the last node should call back to any one of these, which it does. In this instance, it's node 1, right? Which if it does that, then we return true. If not, right, and we want the false answer, what's basically going to happen is this will just equal to none, right? Just like how most normal linked lists work. And that overall is basically the entirety idea of how this problem works, how it works behind the scenes, and what you would do to come up with the solution.